All right. We are now recording. So,
and we are at lesson 7, right?
Lesson 7, questions on lesson 7, which had that long video that I will admit that I watched, didn't understand a whole lot about it because it was troubleshooting and talking with that guy about RTMP or whatever it was. And that's way beyond my pay scale, and I probably will never be using it. So quite frankly, I wasn't that interested in it.
I think that must be week 8, is it?
I think it is week 8.
Oh, is that week 8?
We're talking about dynamics.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Back up. Yeah.
Right.
I forgot what. Yeah, that was one too. Hang on, let me get this thing out of full screen.
The first one was Dynamics week 1. It was just a couple of short videos, and
yeah, that's right. I remember that now.
And what I took away from it was that if you're having problems, you kind of got to sort them out on your own, because nobody's systems, nobody's resources, nobody's internet is the same as somebody else's.
Right.
That's pretty much the truth.
Or go to the forum and see if somebody happens to know.
Yes. Yes.
But all that being said, I mean, I was having problems with that at the beginning, and that auto configure solved all my problems. So for anybody starting out, just go to the auto configure and it'll tell you what settings to put in there for streaming.
Yeah. And they're also a very good source, although it's not used as much as it used to be, is the OBS community on Google. There's a world of people there that know OBS and hang out there, and they're more than willing to answer questions. I mean, Terry Lee Britton's a member of the community. And you know, he's more than happy to answer questions, you know.
Yeah.
And I know that John Brown hangs out in that community too. So, you know, there's resources right within Google, good resources, you know.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, I mean, the first part of that, there was a lot of information that was pretty general that we all knew before when it comes to doing Hangouts and so forth. You know, the whole piece around not relying on wireless and closing everything that you don't need, and connecting up to the closest YouTube or Twitch site. Those were all kind of general pieces that I think most of us that have been online would already know. Yeah,
it was a general best practices.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether, you know, you're using OBS or Wirecast, or, I mean, those are just general best practices for getting video online, no matter what platform you're using, you know.
However, there's one thing to know that, and there's another thing to practice it. So if you are having trouble, it might be a good, because I know there's lots of people on there that have been on for many years, and when they screen share and you see their tabs, they have so many friggin' tabs open that they're this wide on the screen. I don't even know how they can tell what's in the
tab. Well, there is a cure for that very problem, you see. And here's me going to look at my tabs, you know.
Oh, not closing them, but actually.
Yeah.
And another good takeaway might be that creating a separate profile just for streaming, so you don't have all of that other resources running in the background.
So that was going to be my question for tonight.
Okay.
What did they mean by that, Bill? Create a separate profile. Does that mean create a new page the way we were doing before, where there's no extensions? It's just a totally clean. Is that what's meant by the profile?
Yeah, when you click on your name in the top of Chrome.
Yeah, okay.
You can open up a clean window, but you have to go in and you have to configure that. Otherwise, it just opens with all the same extensions you were using before, or that's what I found.
No, mine opens with nothing. It's totally clean. And that was what no, it was Vivek who suggested I do that when I'm setting up my chipmunk.
Right.
That was his whole thing. He said, create that clean one and set the chipmunk thing up in there, and also run your YouTube or your Hangout from there, so that all this other stuff wouldn't come in. Yeah. So okay, so that's what I thought it meant, but I thought, I wonder if that's really what they meant.
Well,
what he
I'm
meant
pretty
by
sure
a new profile.
that's what it means. Yeah, I'm not positive because I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, it's like if I open OBS right now, go over and click new, and I get a totally blank screen.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can add a scene, put the sources to the scene. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then that scene, that particular scene, I can save.
Yep.
Okay. Then when I get all of my scenes set, I can save all of those as a profile and change the key thing where you record to. So I can set up a profile that goes to Twitch. It's got the Twitch thing in my key thing. I can set up that same exact profile and set up one with my YouTube key in it, so it goes to YouTube.
Okay, so that's talking about a profile from within OBS.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But that's not going to change the stuff that you have open in Chrome. And that's the stuff that's going to affect your stream, is when some program that you haven't used for 3 months that you've forgotten about decides it's going to update in the middle of your stream. All of a sudden you're using those resources on your computer. Or Skype is another one he mentioned. So, you know, I took Skype off for that reason specifically, because it's always uploading ads. And sometimes it takes a bit of bandwidth to do that. Mm-hmm. Not bandwidth, but computer resources.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that I try to remember to do is close Dropbox, because that's another one. And then I have that backup and sync from Google.
Mm-hmm.
I have that one, and I do it, create a pause there. So, you know, the only one
I need to go in and shut off any of the extensions you're not using for what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, or use a clean, a whole clean page that doesn't have any extensions.
Right.
Well, but if you've got extensions in your Chrome browser, like you've got the notifications, your YouTube notifications turned on when somebody uploads a video, okay? Mm-hmm. You're doing your thing, somebody uploads a video. If you haven't shut down your email, then it's running out every 5 minutes, check something. It's going to be doing all that stuff in the background, which is going to be creating a load. So yeah, it's basically a good idea. Is anything that can update on its own without a manual input from you, shut it down while you're broadcasting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's apparently what this clean window in Chrome does for you. But I think there's it's not just a matter of creating the account. I think there's a bit of configuring needs to go on, because I created a second profile in Chrome and it was using all the same extensions the other one was using. So I just deleted it. I didn't see any point to that.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that interesting? Because let me share my screen.
Okay.
Let's see if I can remember, I get the right one here. This one, I think. So can you see where it says up in the corner, Chipmunk? And yeah, you see there's nothing in there whatsoever.
Right, but go into your extensions, the 3 dots.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me move my videos. Go down to...
More tools, yeah. And extensions.
No. Don't click on extensions, click on Taskmaster.
Try again.
Or Task Manager, it's probably called.
Yeah, yeah. So memory footprint, memory CPU.
Yeah, you're not screen sharing.
Oh, it stopped.
Well, yeah, because you exited out of that window.
So there is, do you see it now?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But see, all of those things are running. And you can see Chrome is taking whatever it is, 7.9. You've got something in Google down there that's taking 1.6.
See, all those numbers that are changing, that's stuff that's running in the background right there, whether it's showing on that page or not.
Yeah.
Well, now there's something I didn't know. I thought, so if I can I
Yeah, you can stop a task, but you got to know which task you can afford to stop. Like if you're using, Chrome.
You will be using Chrome to bring.
Yeah, you can't set. There's no way you could stop that Chrome thing and continue. So it's going to be going. But like your.
And you probably wouldn't stop the Google one.
Right.
Well, that's Google search, isn't it? So you probably don't need Google search while you're on.
Right.
I mean, don't shut it off because I'm
yeah. And like your calendar, if you notice your calendar keeps changing, I don't,
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably all of those things that are in there, like right there, yeah, your calendar just changed.
Mm-hmm.
And probably all of those other things that are potentially running could start up and boot at any time or update or, like TubeBuddy. It could send you updated Chanalytics.
Yeah. So I was under the impression that with this clean where there were no extensions, well, they are showing up there. Yeah. Aren't they? Yeah.
Somehow you have to go in and configure.
No, wait a minute. This is the wrong one. No. Okay, I've got to change that. So I was under the impression that because there was nothing showing up here on the menu bar, that those things were not active.
No, but those are only tabs at the top of your menu bar. So you can close all your tabs and still have things running in the background, have software running in the background.
No, I don't mean tabs. What? Let me see if I can do a new share. All right. So when I go here, and this is the one I think I want this time. You see all these up here on the menu bar? That's when those are missing. That's when I just assumed that in that clean page there was nothing up there. So I made the assumption that those extensions were not active on that new page.
I would think probably those extensions are not active. It's other software in the background that is active, like TubeBuddy. You don't even have TubeBuddy up there. Well, you do, but it's not highlighted. So I would say it's probably shut off.
No, I just activated TubeBuddy yesterday because I was doing something.
Mm.
Yeah, and I don't know enough about it other than I know I went in and checked the resources I was using on the clean page, and it wasn't as clean as I thought it was. So that might be something you'll have to do a bit more research on if you want to do it that way. The other way is just to go to your extensions and shut them off. But that's still not going to keep Microsoft from updating. It's not going to keep HP, if that's the type of laptop you have, from updating.
Oh, God, don't even mention that. I fight with this one 3 times a day at least,
Yeah, and all of that stuff.
And I've been trying to figure out how to determine or have control over when Microsoft does it. And I haven't found a place to do it yet.
The only time I've had control is if it's a massive update and they warn you it's a massive update and to schedule it when you want. Otherwise
they do it whenever. Yeah.
Otherwise they do it whenever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
And there are a number of things that seem to update themselves if I do a reboot.
Mm-hmm.
And Microsoft sometimes will do it when you're doing a reboot. It'll pop up and say, "Oh, don't do anything because we're doing such and such," or yeah. But there's a couple of other things that will update just when there's. The only time they seem to update is when I do a reboot. And that was, what was that? It was one of them.
Well, when Windows tells you that, you can usually count on 20 minutes out of your life that you
no
never get
kidding. No kidding. Yeah. It was the anti-spyware one that I have. It's called Super Anti-Spyware. That one only updates when I reboot. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean.
But I took it as that was the profile that he was talking about in
OBS.
As far as keeping your stream clean was to create some kind of a profile like that where you don't have all of those extensions running and things you can't control taking resources while you're streaming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's only happened to me once or twice that there's been an interruption when I was doing a Hangout.
Yeah, I have had one that really just totally knocked me dead in the water because I was online and Windows decided that anniversary update, the one that killed the 20 million Logitech cameras that they took forever to fix. That one was while I was, and I'm sorry, I don't know what, but, I'm sorry, an hour and a half update, I just know, that could be illegal,
You're right. Well, and so, I mean, a couple of other things that I picked up that I just wrote a couple of notes about that I'm not sure I would use, but I mean, who knows what's going to happen next month,
True.
So, I mean, he talked about when you, some things to use if you wanted to use more than one camera. So, for example, if I wanted to show something on my desk that I'm doing, something like what Heather does, she's working on a piece of artwork or something, and so she's got more than one camera going. So he talked about that and talked about what was it, stream alerts, I think is what you could use for that. And then the other piece was if you wanted to stream to more than one platform, like if you wanted to go to YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah.
So, but I don't really see myself using those at this.
I don't see me using them either. I mean, and to me, if you're going to want to do that, to broadcast to more than one channel at a time, then get ready to use Restream. I mean, you send it there, and then they worry about streaming it out to the other things.
Yeah, that was the thing he recommended.
Yeah, I mean, rather than trying to do it all yourself, just you send it and let them, you drop it in the letterbox and then you let the post office take it wherever it wants.
Yeah.
And the multiple camera thing, I don't know whether you saw the video that I did where I set up 3 cameras on one computer and had all 3 of them brought in.
Oh, no, we didn't see that.
Oh, okay.
Was that one of your recent ones?
It was done, let's see, when was this done? What's the date on this thing? February the 14th.
Oh.
And it's in the user-to-user community.
Okay.
It says it's the topic is 3 cameras on OBS. And I did that using 3 different accounts. I used Roy's account, I used Carl's account, and I used my account.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you had to use 3 separate accounts?
Well, I did just to bring it in, but it would be, you know, I could use those all 3 on that same account and have them pointing 3 different ways and then switch between them. But this way, I showed all 3 cameras on screen at the same time by using 3 different where I could bring them in, you know. So
and I think what EPOS was talking about was getting a capture card that would accept more than 1.
Yeah, yeah. That's.
But you're getting into dollars to start upgrading. So for people that are trying to keep budget friendly.
Mm-hmm. Or people that are using Chromebooks and can't add capture cards. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And you plug them straight into your computer? You plug them, you plug them into 3 separate computers then?
Well, no, actually what I did was I plugged the 3 cameras into a powered UBS hub.
Okay.
I plugged that into the computer. Then I started that up and sent invitations to the other accounts to come into the thing, and then had them set up, and came in. It was a very complicated process. I would not suggest it. Well, you know me. I don't use software. I abuse it. You know, I just wanted to see if it was possible to do it when he was talking about it. And I thought, well, let's try this. So I did, and it works. But because of the limited range of where I can set cameras up on this desktop, I mean, basically, I've got one here. I've got one higher aiming down, and then I've got one at the side, sort of shooting in at a 45-degree angle. They all show me. They all show my green screen because I haven't figured out how to do all of that in Zoom so I can use the virtual green screen at the same time. I would love to be able, if I brought 3 different computers in and had them set up, they each one could have their own background. But the one I did had just the regular back, you know, like this thing with no green screen. You know, it was just 3 separate angles of the same picture.
But why, if you had them all plugged into one computer, and into the powered hub, why would you need additional accounts?
Well, because I had to bring in other accounts, because if I'm just me in there by myself, I can switch between the 3 cameras, but I cannot get all 3 cameras on screen at the same time using just my account.
Well, can't you bring each one in separately as a separate video capture?
Okay, that I hadn't even tried.
If you can plug them into your computer, you should be able to identify each one as an independent video capture.
That's true. That's true.
Device and bring them and just add them all to the scene.
That's true. I hadn't thought of that. I'll have to go back and see exactly, because quite frankly, this was something that was done like at 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And half the time it's like, go back and see the rerun of this. Thank you for watching. This has been week 7. Next Monday, we will do week 8. And that's the one that gets hairy and into detail that I don't think a whole lot of us are going to be really interested in. But that's just a clue. Thank you. Catch you later. Bye.